On the last video, we went into pacing and leading. And again, for our private students, we can go so much deeper. And one thing I want to mention is when you're pacing in the beginning, as you're establishing rapport, establishing trust, you want to use multiple paces or multiple truths and then lead, like pace, 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 lead. Then over time, it's pace, 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 lead, pace, pace, lead, pace, lead, lead. Okay? So, it's a process. As you build the rapport, build the trust, then you would do more leading instead of pacing. But anyway, again, go back and watch the last videos. If first time here with us, hit that subscribe button. And let's jump into our next. Now, this next part is probably one of the most controversial when it comes to neuro-linguistic programming, because people either truly believe that this works or they don't truly believe this works. They either see this as something that's very powerful, or they see this as gimmicky, and they're like, hey, how can you tell it's really working? I have seen people that use it masterfully, and I've seen people that are very awkward with it. So embedded directives or embedded commands. I prefer a directive because we're directing a thought pattern than a command. But embedded commands is what most people in neuro-linguistic programming call it. I'm going to explain the premise behind it. I think those who use it effectively, I personally believe it's just instills more confidence in their own self. They are the placebo. They think I'm using this superpower language, hypnotic language, and all of a sudden people are going to follow me. Actually, what I think you're doing is you're actually just building your own confidence, and confidence is contagious. Confidence, your message comes across more congruently. Okay. But again, I've seen people do this really with excellence and skill, and I've seen people do it awkwardly. So let's talk about it. So an embedded directive or embedded command. So understand this. It is the ability or the potential ability to hide suggestions inside larger sentences. So understand this, the unconscious mind, your unconscious mind, it looks for patterns. It looks for patterns because patterns in life, patterns are how we judge people. Patterns are how we judge situations. Patterns are how we stay safe. So the unconscious mind looks for and is alerted to patterns. So one embedded command is not going to work. It's a pattern. And this is really done very well when doing a 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute presentation or a multiple day event. If you think a Tony Robbins event where he's going to speak to you for day after day after day, there's so many opportunities. Now, an embedded command is used, or embedded directive, when you're speaking and then you pause for just a moment, maybe lower tonality, and you make a command. The reason I'm teaching this is not that I believe we need to use this in coaching at all, but if you study NLP, you're going to see this, and I want to bring some light to the matter, okay? So I'll give you an example. I'm not saying that you should start believing in your abilities now, but some people do. I'm not saying, which is negation, I'm not saying you should pause, believe in me completely. But some people do as they go through the situation. So you're using a normal statement, you're pausing, you're giving a command, and then you are finishing on with normal conversations. It's almost like you're doing for lack of better words, a sandwich of the command. Where people really get weird with this is when they go, I'm not saying that you should buy this car now. However, or a person can find themselves very excited. A person can become very excited. They make it weird. It really stand out. Yeah, the brain recognizes that pattern as you're a weirdo. So what you want to do is just use these. Hey, listen, a person can decide to buy this product, or maybe they decide not to buy this product. I'm not saying you should go with our firm. Maybe you decide not to go with our firm. I've seen this used a lot in examples of whether you decide to work with us today, or if you decide not to work with us today. So the illusion of choice, but both have an embedded command to work with us today. Let me give you a couple other examples, and this can be used in therapy very well and coaching, but those examples were more in sales. So if you want to encourage change, I'm going to come again with low resistance, low negation. You don't have to do anything right now. But some people decide, but let me read that again. You don't have to do anything right now. But some people just decide to let go when they realize how much it's costing them to hold on. The command there was just decide to let go. You don't have to do anything right now. But some people just decide to let go when they realize how much it's costing them to hold on. Did you catch the command? Okay. Maybe we're trying to get somebody to take action. So as you think about all of the possibilities ahead, you might begin to feel more confident about taking that next step. Again, the embedded command is feel more confident, or begin to feel more confident. Many clients have said they weren't sure at first, but eventually they noticed it's natural to trust yourself more deeply. Did you catch the command? Many clients have said they weren't sure at first, but eventually they just noticed it's natural to trust yourself more deeply, Wayne. And you're putting in their names. So the command there was trust yourself more deeply. I'm not saying you're already there, but imagine how powerful it feels to step into your potential right now. Step into your potential. You might be curious what happens when you allow the solution to emerge on its own. This is good when somebody is like they're in their own way, they're stuck, and they have the solution inside of them, and you're helping them as a coach. Hey, listen, Susan, you may even be curious what happens when you allow the solution to emerge on its own. How does that feel when that happens? You're given the command. So again, I want to touch on this. Embedded commands or embedded directives. You want to notice. Now, for our private clients, we actually have one of the original sales scripts that from a program that I bought almost 30 years ago. It's hard to believe. And Richard Bandler and different ones in NLP, but it's a long sales script that uses multiple binds, double binds, but really heavy on embedded commands or embedded directives. And it begins by making people feel comfortable. A person can find themselves comfortable as you're listening to this. And then it goes from comfort into trust. And then trust into actually buying directives, phonological ambiguities, etc. We'll get into what that means. The key is, and this is what I want you to leave here with, you can share with people how to feel. A lot of times when I'm fixing to go through another part of a coaching session, I'll go, hey, during this next part, I want you to really pay close attention, because this is where most people say most people find themselves very comfortable. So, and I'm not really using heavy directives or commands, but I'm letting them know what feeling to attach to the next section. Hey, listen, we've done 3 sessions together. On the 4th session, we're going to get into more of your inner values, okay? What's really important here. And I want you to find yourself really excited about this, because I've seen so many people experience true trust with the process in this session. So we'll talk about that next time. So there was a number of presuppositions. There was 2 embedded directives, but I'm really just framing the situation so that they have absolute clarity and trust in the next start. So I'm building up anticipation. Again, done with moral and ethics. This is so powerful. But I want to say this: if you never use an embedded directive, embedded command, you're going to be great. Okay. This is something that when people start studying, they see it elsewhere and they think they found a magic key. What I think it does is just builds up inner confidence. Okay. And from the inner confidence, that makes you a better coach, consultant, sales associate, whatever you're using this coaching for. So again, wanted to touch on embedded directives. We're going to move past it pretty quick. So be back here tomorrow. Be back again. Subscribe, follow, share, all of that. We're going to go even deeper in inner confidence coaching. If you haven't picked up the book yet, lifecoachlifestyle.com. Lifecoachlifestyle.com. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless.